Alright, here we go. Changing the front disc brakes on my 2000 Civic. Here we go. First, you want to put on some sounds. So make sure you put on your radio and turn it up. Next, you want to apply the parking brake because we're doing the front brakes. You don't want your car to go anywhere. And take the cap off the brake fluid filler. I'll explain on this later. Next, you want to loosen up the lug nuts. Don't take them all the way off, just loosen them up a little bit. While the car's on the ground, you just want to loosen them. Now you're going to want to jack the car up. This guy does it like a boss. Alright, once you got the car high enough, now you can remove the lug nuts. Notice the application of dollar store gloves before removing the rim. Alright, safety first, so it looks like we forgot something here. I'm gonna have to add a jack stand. Make sure you're always using safety anytime working or around cars. Alright, now we're ready to go. Again. I remove this lower bolt down here. I think it's a 12 millimeter. The top one you might have to loosen up a little bit just so those can pivot up, but for the most part I just removed this bottom bolt and I was able to slide that up. Like so. Alright, here are the pads. You simply pull these out, remove them, and make sure that these are the same as the new ones. Before you try installing them, make sure that the new ones will fit. Notice that the back one is different than the front one, so the inner pad is different from the outer pad. Alright, here are the new pads. Just want to compare them, make sure they're the same. Now here's the inner pad I was talking about. Watching this video, you can see that it applies on the right side of the disc. This has a little metal piece on the end of it. That's an indicator to tell you when you need new brake pads. So that will start rubbing against the disc and make a sound, so you know that you're gonna need some new pads. On some cars, when you go forward you hear the noise, it means you need front brakes, and when you're rolling backwards and hear a noise, it means that you need back brakes. And I applied a lot of grease on these suckers. I don't want any squeaking, and even if you don't mind, other people around us hear it and they'll mind, and it's just not fun. So make sure to apply a lot of grease on all the metal parts. Don't put it on the pad itself or the disc, so you don't want any grease touching where the brake pads touch the disc. You just want to make sure it touches all the metal parts that touch metal and metal. Now this bolt right here is important to grease up as well. I think this is the cause for the squeaking for the most part when the brake calipers compress the pads against the disc. This pin right here can actually go back and forth when the disc is in motion, and I believe that contributes to the squeaking sound, so make sure to grease that up. Nice, installing the one on the right. It's the inner pad, and it has that little pin or that metal piece sticking out of it. And here's the outer pad. Oh snap. Alright, now we got to get this back together. So to compress the caliper, you can use a skateboard, a 2x4, you can use a vise or a grip, just something to get that back in there. But this is the reason why we took the cap off the brake fluid filler in the engine compartment, so that the fluid can be compressed back into the tube and back up through the system. And I'm compressing this here, so make sure that you have something, like I said, a 2x4 skateboard piece of wood to wedge in there and push this back in. And you don't want to break that piece. So some of those are kind of fragile, and if you hit one side of it, it'll break. So make sure you have even pressure around the diameter, the circumference of that piece there. Now we just got to install this lower bolt back in. Make sure to tighten this bolt. Don't over tighten it, but make sure that's snug and really good and tight. This is your brake system here, it's really important. So this is my main concern here, is my brakes on the car usually, and the engine of course, but you're going to want some good brakes. So there you have it. Once you're done, make sure you inspect everything, double check everything twice, put the rim back on, put the lug nuts back on, tighten the lug nuts up hand tight before you lower the car. Then lower the car all the way, and then go back and retighten the lug nuts super tight, as tight as you can with your hand at least, and make sure those are on there good. You don't want the tire falling off down the road. Last, we're going to have to put the cap back on the brake fluid fill, and you're good to go.